Okay, so Dr. Holder here, Dr. Levine. We're going to learn today continuation of Shmona Prakim LaRambam together with the explanation of Pirkei Avos. So after learning Shmona Prakim, and we know that the main goal of a person is to gain intellect, to gain wisdom, and to improve our character. Now we are going to learn how the Chachamim from Beit Sheni, what did they say? How did they learn? And how did they improve their character? So in this Mishnah, it says, "Aseh lecha rav, ukneh lecha chaver." You have to make yourself a mentor. Okay, so the Rambam, as we spoke before, he doesn't just take it as face value. He explains what is the deeper meaning to make yourself a mentor. Okay, how will that make you a better person? Okay, so when you're going to gain a mentor, it's in order for you to improve somehow. So now he's going to explain to us how. Let's read the English. I mean, people can read it on the line. He means to say, even if he is not fit to be your mentor, okay? So you say, oh, I need somebody who is the best mentor in the world. No, still place him upon you as a mentor so that you can give and take, discuss and argue with him. And as a result of the study of wisdom will come to your hand. Okay? As the study of a man on his own is good, but his study from someone else will be better established in his hand, and it will be more clear. And even if he is like him in wisdom or below him. And so did they elucidate the explanation of this commandment. And he said, acquire to yourself a friend. Okay, so we understand that having a mentor is not just so you can learn from him, even if he's below you, there is going to be an advantage. Now, what is the meaning of acquire yourself a friend? Okay, and again, everything is in the context of how you're going to improve yourself. He said it with an expression of acquisition and did not say make for yourself a friend, but rather acquire. Befriend or befriend others. The intention of this is that a person must acquire a friend for himself so that all his deeds and all his matters be refined through him. As they said, either a friend or death. And if you're not going to get a friend, you're going to end up dying. And if he does not find him, he must make efforts for it with all his heart. And even if he must lead him to his friendship until he becomes a friend. And then he must never let off from following his friend's will until his friendship is firmed up. It is, as the master of ethics say, he remains here Aristotle. I don't know why he's calling him the master of ethics, but
who? Where do you see
Rambam.
Aristotle?
Aristotle.
Really?
Yeah.
And where would that be here in English?
So he doesn't say, okay.
It's not translated.
It is. He just said, as the masters of ethics say.
That's Aristotle?
Yeah. Which we know is not like such an ethical guy, right? But that's what he said. Okay.
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 I'm surprised.
I mean, this is what the Hebrew says.
In Hebrew, what does it say about Aristotle?
Okay, it says like this. I mean, I'm gonna translate in my way. Okay. Uma tov ma'amar Aristotle sa'ahuv. And how good is it to learn the saying of Aristotle, the beloved one? So what did Aristotle say? He says, when you love, do not love according to your traits, but rather love according to the trait of your friend. And when each of the friends has the intention to fulfill the will of his friend, the intention of both of them will be one without a doubt. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So no, here is Aristotle. Okay, 1 second. So when I said the master of ethics, what did I do?
What happened?
No, I went here. כמו שהוא בעלי המוסר. Okay, בעלי המוסר is the master of ethics. Okay, so no, here is Aristotle. And how good is the statement of Aristotle? It's good.
Yeah, the friend is one.
The friend is one, and there are three types of friends: a friend for benefit, a friend for enjoyment, and a friend for virtue. Indeed, a friend for benefit is like the friendship of two business partners, and the friendship of a king and his
Retinue.
whereas the friendship of enjoyment is of two types: the friend for pleasure and the friend for confidence. Indeed, the friend of friendship of indeed the friend for pleasure is like the friendship of males and females, and similar to it. Whereas the friend for confidence is when a man has a friend to whom he can confide his soul. He will not keep anything from him, not in action and not in speech, and he will not make him know all of his affairs. No, sorry, and he will make him know all of his affairs, the good ones and the disgraceful, without fearing from him that any loss will come to him with all of this, not from him and not from another. As when a person has such a level of confidence in a man, he finds great enjoyment in his words and in his great friendship. And a friend for virtue is when the desire of both of them and their intention is for one thing, and that is the good. And each one wants to be helped by his friend in reaching this good for both of them together. And this is the friend which he commanded to acquire. And it is like the love of
Wait,
the
what, and, you know, and this is, oh, and this is the,
okay, and it is like the love of the master for the student and of the student to the master. The end of the Mishnah says, "Vehevi dan eskol adam lekavschus," and judge every person as meritorious. Okay, so what does it mean? Its subject is when there is a person whom you do not about him as if he's righteous or if he's wicked. You don't know. It's missing the word know,
yeah.
and you do not know about him if he's righteous or if he's wicked. And you see him doing an act or saying something, and if you interpret it one way, it will be good. And if you interpret it in another way, it will be bad. In this case, take it to the good and do not think bad about it. But if a man is known to be famously righteous and of good deeds, and an action of his is seen that all of its aspects indicate that it is a bad deed, and a person can only determine it to be good with great stretching and a distant possibility. It is fit that you take it
for the good.
for the good. And do not think bad about it. So if the person is good, even if it appears bad, you have to look at it as good.
And it is not permissible.
It is not permissible for you to suspect him. And about this, what's going on?
No, yeah. There's some good, and it is not possible for you to suspect him. And about this, they did say,
Go.
body of anyone who suspects proper ones will be struck. And so too, when it is an evildoer, and his deeds are famous. And afterwards we see that he does a deed, all of the indications about which that it is good, but there is an aspect of this possibility that is bad. It's fit to guard oneself from him and not to believe that it is good, since there is possibility for the bad. Fascinating. And about this it is stated also that he be fair spoken, do not trust him. Hmm? Though he be fair spoken, but when he is not known, and the deed is indeterminate towards one of the two, according to the ways of the piety, one must judge a person meritorious, whichever extreme the two extremes would be the case.
So the way you judge him is how it's going to affect you. Okay, and so we learned about
There's a warning here to not necessarily judge to the negative, to the bad. Okay, because there's a punishment, there's a penalty for this.
Yes.
But the word judge, what is the word in Hebrew that they're using for the word judge?
Where you see that?
We don't judge people.
Dan lechafzchut. Oh yeah, we always judge.
We judge people.
Dan meaning, yeah, you judge people.
Or you interpret.
That's what it means, to interpret. You interpret someone, it's when you judge them. Because in your mind, you determine how did he said something right or not right. That's called judge.
You're making a choice for yourself. I understand perhaps how they're using the word judge. In English, this is a very strong word. In other words, you're making a judgment. I mean, the Eibishter makes the judgment, but you have free choice to choose good from evil.
Okay, well, let's take it. Let's take a different example. When a doctor makes a diagnosis, is he making a judgment?
I get it.
Right? It's a judgment because whatever he says will have consequences this way or consequences somewhere in a different way. So in many ways,
a determination.
Yeah.
I just don't like the word judge, but I understand.
You understand, right?
I understand. I think it's a terrible word in English.
Okay. So let's just read another idea of the Rambam, how he interprets the Mishnah. Do not befriend an evildoer. In any type of friendship and companionship, so that you will not learn from his deeds. And we have already elucidated in the previous chapters that a man learns from the vices found in the company of evildoers.
Yeah, we daven every morning to avoid
this,
such
right?
people.
And he said further, if you sin or you see that one sin, do not be confident and say that God, may he be blessed, will only punish him in the world to come. And do not despair of quick vengeance from him for this sin. It means what? It means that don't say, oh, God will punish him in the world to come. Why? I don't know why. Oh yeah, because you need to distance himself. Because then you'll say, okay, so let me be his friend.
And God will take care of him.
God will take care of him later. No, you should stay away from him because he's influencing you to the bad.
And don't feel bad if vengeance comes immediately to this person. Yeah.
So basically the Rambam is teaching us character traits, how to protect ourselves.
How to acquire them and how to protect ourselves.
Right. And when the Rebbe tells us to learn that as physicians, he wants us to teach it to patients. He wants us to teach it to our patients. See, this isn't just a teaching for us to know. It's for us to know who we are dealing with. Somebody comes to us and, they have bad influence, bad friends. Don't tell them, oh, it's okay, No, you have to distance yourself from people who are influencing you to the bad. Okay? So if we learn the Mishnah, I mean, there is obviously here in this link, there's a lot of Mishnayos, and the Rambam explain each Mishnah according to that concept. Okay? How can we learn from this Amora, or this Tana, or these people, how to learn how to improve ourselves? Okay, so we're going to stop now, and now we're going to go to the Maimah that we were learning. So I'm going to switch the to the Maimer. It's called the Maimer is called Boire Nifs Fasaim. The link is here, and I'm going to make it bigger for you.
No, what's the name of the mimer?
The Maimer is called Boire Nifs Fasaim.
His last mimer. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to start today the fourth. This is just, it's in this book. It's also online, Anticipating the Redemption. It's the last mimer the Rebbe published. So I'm just going to summarize in 2 minutes the mimer that we learned. That the pasuk says, "I will create fruit of the lips, peace to the far and to the near. Says God, I will heal him." Boire means to create. That the fruit of the lips, the word that we say, is able to create something. Okay, so the question is how? How can we create something in this world? Only Hashem can create. But Hashem gives us the ability to create something